Look, here's the thing. Most people treat investing like a trip to the casino. They hope for a big win. They chase some hyped up crypto coin they heard about on a podcast, or they get completely paralyzed by the complexity of Wall Street spreadsheets. But the math is screaming at us. You don't need a PhD in finance to know exactly when you'll be rich. You just need the rule of 72. It is the most powerful mental shortcut in existence for understanding the velocity of your capital, and yet most people ignore it because it doesn't feel exciting enough. It's a total shell game out there, and if you don't know the math, you're the one being played. My name is Zack, and I spend way too much time thinking about why the average person is being left behind because they don't understand basic mental models. If you're someone who is tired of watching your hard-earned cash sit stagnant while the world gets more expensive, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Let's start with a reality check. Imagine two friends, Dave and Jenny. Both have $20,000 saved up in 2026. Dave is safe. He's terrified of market volatility, so he puts his money in a standard savings account earning 2% interest. He thinks he's being responsible. Jenny, on the other hand, understands leverage logic. She puts her $20,000 into a diversified index fund, averaging 9% annually. At first, the difference looks like pennies, but let's apply the math. Using the rule of 72, Dave's money will take 36 years to double. By the time his 20K becomes 40K, he'll be looking at retirement in the rearview mirror. Jenny's money, it doubles every 8 years. By the time Dave hits his first double, Jenny has doubled her money 4.5 times. She's sitting on over $300,000, while Dave is still trying to figure out why his safe plan left him broke. I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm here to give you the math. The rule of 72 is dead simple. Take the number 72 and divide it by your annual rate of return. The result is the number of years it takes for your money to double. That's it. It is the fundamental law of compounding growth. And in a 2026 economy where the cost of living is accelerating, if you aren't doubling your money every 7 to 10 years, you aren't actually growing. You're just slowly evaporating. Now, why do our brains struggle so much with this? It's because humans are evolutionarily hardwired for linear thinking. If I tell you to take 30 linear steps, you can visualize exactly where you'll end up, about 30 meters away. But if I tell you to take 30 exponential steps where each step doubles in length, you don't end up across the street, you end up at the moon. Your brain cannot intuitively grasp the power of the double. This is why people scoff at an 8% return. They think, what's 8%? That's nothing. But 8% means your wealth doubles every 9 years. If you start with $50,000 at age 25, that's 4 doubles by the time you're 61. That's $800,000. That boring 8% just turned a modest savings into $1 million lifestyle. Here's the first bombshell. The rule of 72 works against you just as fast as it works for you. This is the part the banks and credit card companies pray you never calculate. Take your credit card debt. In 2026, average APRs are hitting a brutal 24% because of the shifting interest rate environment. Let's do the math. 72 divided by 24 is 3. That means your debt is doubling every 3 years. If you have $10,000 in credit card debt and you're only paying the minimum, you aren't just carrying a balance. You are caught in a mathematical whirlpool that is pulling you under 4 times faster than the average stock market investors climbing up. You're literally working for the bank's compound interest while your own wealth sits at 0. Now, you might be thinking this doesn't apply to you because you don't have enough money to start with, or because you're waiting for the perfect time to invest. But let me show you why that's a dangerous lie. The rule of 72 is about time, not just principle. Every year you wait to start is a year you're cutting off the final doubles of your life. In the world of compounding, the last double is always the biggest. If you start with $10,000 and it doubles 5 times, the first double only gives you an extra $10,000. But that fifth double, that gives you $160,000 in a single cycle. When you wait for the right time, you aren't just missing out on a few months of growth, you're murdering your future self's biggest paydays. Let's talk about the convenience trap in 2026. We live in a world where everything is a subscription. $15 for Netflix, $20 for a gym you don't go to, $10 for cloud storage. Individually, these are painless, but collectively, they're a massive drain on your doubling capacity. If you're spending $200 a month on useless subscriptions, that's $2,400 a year. If you invested that instead at 10% return, the rule of 72 says that money doubles every 7.2 years. Over a 30-year career, those small subscriptions just cost you over $400,000. You're literally trading a beach house in retirement for the ability to watch shows you don't even like today. Here is the second bombshell. Inflation has its own rule of 72, and it is the silent killer of the middle class. If the real-world inflation for things you actually need, healthcare, housing, and education, is running at 6%, 72 divided by 6 is 12. That means in just 12 years, the purchasing power of your cash will be cut in half. If your safe investments aren't returning at least 6%, you are losing the war. You are working for a currency that is melting in your hands like an ice cube in the July sun. Being safe with your money in a 2026 savings account is actually the riskiest thing you can do because you are guaranteeing a loss of purchasing power. You have to become a financial realist. You need to look at every financial product through the lens of this rule. When a bank offers you a special certificate of deposit at 3%, your brain should immediately scream 24 years. Do you really want to wait 24 years just to see your money double once? The math of 2026 demands that you seek higher velocity. You have to move your capital from where it's being eaten by fees and low rates to where it's allowed to breathe and compound. Now let's address the loss aversion psychology. Most people are so afraid of a 10% market dip that they willingly accept a 100% chance of being poor in old age. They want to feel safe, but feelings are expensive. If your feelings lead you to an investment that takes 30 years to double instead of 7, those feelings just cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost time. In 2026, the only real safety is a high velocity of capital. You need your money doubling as often as possible to stay ahead of the tax dragon and the inflation monster. Here is the third bombshell. Taxes are the ultimate double killer. If you're in a 25% tax bracket and you earn an 8% return in a taxable account, your real return isn't 8%, it's 6%. According to the rule of 72, your doubling time just jumped from 9 years to 12 years. You just added 3 years of mandatory labor to your life because you didn't optimize for taxes. This is why Roth accounts and tax-sheltered vehicles aren't just extra features. They are the nitro boost for your compounding engine. Let's get into the leverage logic. People are terrified of debt, but they don't understand that inflation makes debt cheaper over time. If you have a fixed rate mortgage at 6% and inflation is at 4%, your real interest rate is only 2%. You're paying back the bank with cheap future dollars while you keep your expensive today dollars invested in assets that are doubling every 7 years. This is how the wealthy use the rule of 72 to widen the gap. They use cheap debt to fund fast doubling assets. It's a total shell game. And once you see the strings, you can't unsee them. So what is the call to action? You need to audit your life right now. Look at your savings, your 401k, and your debt. Apply the 72 rule to every single one of them. If the number of years it takes for your assets to double is higher than 10, you are in the slow lane. You need to pivot. Stop buying liabilities that decrease in value and start buying assets to have a doubling velocity of 7 to 9 years. The system is designed to keep you focused on the monthly payment and the guaranteed return while it siphons off your true potential. Most people will finish this video, feel a momentary spark of clarity, and then go right back to their convenient life and their stagnant bank accounts. They'll stay trapped on the treadmill, but you're not most people. You're here because you know that hoping for a comfortable future isn't a strategy. Math is a strategy. You've seen the numbers, you know the speed limit, you have the key to the prison. The only question left is, are you going to keep sitting in the cell or are you going to start driving? If you're ready to stop being a victim of the math and start being the architect of your own wealth, you need to watch this next video right here, where I break down the exact asset classes that are hitting those 7-year doubling targets in the 2026 market. I'll see you over there.